Hello everyone, welcome to this tutorial. So in our previous tutorials, we've discussed several topics like variables, comments, concatenation. We even went on to discuss decision statements, conditional statements using loop, using if and else statements. So in this particular tutorial, we will discuss what we call loops, and then we discuss what we call arrays. Okay. So I'll briefly talk about these two topics right now before I delve into loops, and then we'll discuss while, for, and then for each loops. Okay, so let me briefly talk about loops. So loop is a way of iterating through a set of items. Okay, it can be numbers, it can be, characters, like as in strings. In programming can be integers. Okay, can be anything. So you get to iterate through each of them. So that's a loop. Like say you wanted to if you had a number 1 and then you had another number 10, so how do you loop from 1 to 10? Is to iterate, is to move through each of them, like 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10. So that's what loop does. And it's useful in different kinds of problems we get to solve programmatically. So we'll see how to work with loops. Okay, and then the other part we'll work on would be arrays. So far we've been discussing how to work with data. Let me just create a simple file and demo.php. All right, so far we've been discussing how to work with something like variables, where we have my variable is assigned the value of maybe Luke. Okay, so with this is fine, but this is a variable, but it only has one value. That is, only one value is assigned to that my var that we just created. So variables hold data fine, but they only hold one data at a time. So if you need another data, you need to like create another variable for it. But there are scenarios where you need a set of data to be held by one variable, and this is where you can't work with the variables. So it's better to work with something we call arrays. So arrays are like variables, but the only difference is that they are able to hold a set of numbers, a set of items. Okay, unlike variables. Okay, so with arrays you can do something like declare the same way my arrays, something like that. So you can have fruits. Maybe you have mango. Okay, you have orange, and you have banana. Okay, so these three these three fruits are held by this my array. Okay, so arrays have a list of items, whereas variables only have one. And we will see how to use for each loop to iterate through each of these and bring them out, or maybe just use index to get each of these values. So we'll get to that. So let's start with working with while loop. Okay, so we'll concentrate on two kinds of loops today: while and for loops. They do the same thing, but it's easier to start with while, understand while loop, and then you get to for loops. But with for loops, it's a bit not it's not that easy for the beginner, but then once you understand the concept, it's shorter to implement. So at the end of the day, you may like using for loops. So let's see how it goes. So let me rename. So we have a folder here. Let me show you. So we have a folder in our htdocs called demo. So that's where we'll add our files. Okay, and don't forget to put this on, start this and start this until they turn green, then you can close that. Okay, so let me just rename this to while loop. Okay, All right, so let's do a simple while loop. Let's change this to high number, okay, and then I give this 10. Okay, so I've declared my variable there, variable. Okay, with while loop, you have a variable declared, then you have the while syntax, just like what we had in our conditional statements. If so, while condition, then do something, then do something. Okay, but with while, you need a way of ending, iterating, and then knowing where to stop in your condition. Then you need a way of knowing the values you want to iterate. Is it with 1? Is it with 2? Is it with -5? Is it? So those things will make sure that we don't run into errors like infinity errors, where the variable loops till infinity and is unable to stop because there was no condition to stop it. So let's have a high number, and let's say we want to iterate from 1 to 10. Okay, we want to count from 1 to 10. So what we do is we have well, we can have a number like, maybe let's have a start. Okay, so our start is from 1, and then we say, well, start, that variable start is less than or equal to 10. In this case, high number. Okay, so while that is equal, then do something. We may say echo I am not more than 10. Okay, so if you stop here, we will run into errors, infinity errors. I don't want us to do that. Or yeah, maybe let's just try so that you get to see what happens. So we have a while loop, and then this runs forever. Okay, and then it might just crash our system. So what we do is we open another one and close that one. It eats up our system memory. So you need a way of stopping that. Okay, so what do? You can say start plus plus, so that it will increment by 1. So plus plus means increment by 1, increment by 1. So that way it will increment by 1 from here, and then we'll get to this place and see that it's lower than or equal to 10, and we'll stop freely without any issues. So let's go back to localhost demo while loop, and expectedly you can see. Okay, so let's break so that you see very well. So we have this. So we have I am more than 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So yeah. So if we change this to start, okay, we can just simply change this to start. So that should start it for us. And then let me use my double quotes, then double quotes. Okay, is that okay? So that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So it loops for us, and with just one statement it does the looping, and it's easier. Even if you were to say loop to 100, it will loop for you. So it takes it down to 100 and stops. Okay, and even if you wanted to say, okay, start from 45 and take to 100, then it should start from 45 and count up to 100 and stop there. Okay, so it's a very useful way of doing some things, especially timetable. Okay, the timetable you have at the back of your exercise book, you can use while statements to do such timetables very effectively. So let's see a very simple type. So we have let me just have this as timetable. or should I think I'm following something. Let me just go step by step. Okay, so let's look at while loop 2. Yeah, I think it's a timetable thing. All right, so let's look at how to implement that timetable with while loop. Timetable table while timetable.php. So I have while timetable.php. So how do we go about this? So we have our PHP, okay, and then we have we declare a timetable, okay, and then let's just say we want to play with 2 times table, and then we have a start, and then it should start at 1, and then we have an end. Let's say it can end at normal timetables end at 12. Okay, so I just like to do something I did here. So let me just copy that. It makes us to understand what's happening. So we have this, we have this, um, and then last but not the least, we have this. So it shows us where, yeah, so this is talking about this 12, this is talking about this one, and this is talking about this 2 in your normal timetable, okay? So I'm just commenting that part to make it easy. So we have a while condition. So what will be our condition? Our condition will be while start is less or equal to end, okay? Okay, so what should happen? Okay, so we assign another variable to timetable. There is a reason we do that, because the timetable will increase. So if we don't have another variable assigned to it at this point, then we'll be working with the same value. So we need to have 2 different values, the one that will hold this number 2 without changing, and the one that will change. So that way we need to have a t called timetable, okay. We can just say current value of timetable, okay. So then what we do is we echo our normal, how do you call this, those things on the left hand side, okay, that you say, let me use double quotes so that the concatenation will be smooth. So what I'm actually trying to do is to echo like 2 times 1, okay, equal to something like that. So that's what I'm trying to do. So let's see how to do. So how do we pick these 2? We already have times. Times is just a matter of typing your x, okay. Then how do we pick 2? Instead of typing 2 like this, it would still work, but it's not efficient. So we get this t that will hold a variable. So we just put t there. T times start, this one will be the start, okay. T times start, okay. So we have this, and then in here we have equal to. So what is left? Let's just see how that prints, okay. But it will loop infinitely. So what I'll do is I'll end this statement here for now, just for you to see how it prints. Then I will increment the stats by 1, by stats plus plus means increment by 1, okay. So I'll just increment that loop, okay, increment by 1, loop, okay. So let's see this, how it works first. It should just show this without the result on the right hand side. So let's see timetable time. Let me just go here and then pick timetable. So it has 2 times 1 equal to, so we need a break statement here, echo, and then we have br, I talked about when we need to use double quote and single quote. Both of them are good, but for some reasons, let me just stick to double quotes when I have to work with concatenation, but we can do both. Okay, so we have this. So it prints out 2, 1 to the up to 12, right? So what we need is to input the answers on the right, and it's not so terrible to get it. It's as easy as ABC. So what we should do will be, we'll have how are we gonna get this? So the way we'll do that is we'll concatenate this with let me just stop that, and then we can concatenate this with our, I think we can have this t times the, which is 2. Okay, so that t times, we use this operator, so we use that operator times stats. Okay, so what we are saying in essence is like 2 times 1 for it to compute it directly from the program for us. Okay, and that will display the result. Compute and display results. Okay, so that should display the result, but we may not have a perfect result for now. Okay, so this is it. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16. Okay, so that is that's as easy as it should be. So let's try and see if we change this to 7. Okay, what will happen? Is that the only place we should change it to 7? Let's see how it goes. Can you see how simple it looks? 7 times 1, 7, 7 times 2, 14. Just to change one particular number. So this is a cleaner approach. We work on this, and then we get our timetable working very efficiently. Even if we wanted to run 11 times table, and then you're able to 11 times 1, 11, 11 to 22, 33, and up to 121 and up to 132. Okay, so it helps us to be able to start our timeline and run it. So even if we were to start from, starting from 5, so it will start from 11, 5, 55, 11, and then stop at 12, or run to 120. Okay, so we have flexibility with, yeah, it stops at 120. Okay, so we have flexibility with what we are able to do. Okay, so let me leave it at that for now. All right, so I hope we understand. So you have this timetable, okay, so that you are not if you are having, a logic with different approaches that you need to alter the timetable value, then it does not affect the original timetable that you declared here. And then this way the computation is performed. The t, this timetable number, whatever timetable number it is, times start. Okay, times start. So times 1, then once it increments, is now times 2. Once it increments, the program runs to the end before coming back, increments again, runs. So that's the way it is. So with that logic, we're able to see how to implement a simple timetable. All right, so let's move on to the next thing. So we've done this already. Now I would like to go back to forms so that we talk about forms, how to create a form and to submit it. I think we had that in our previous video, but let's just quickly do that again. So forms.php. So we have a very simple form. I'll just have name. So we close our form. Okay, so we have input. Remember, just like this is default to text, so you may not even need to type is equal to text, and the important thing you need is name here. Okay, so type is equal to text, and then you have name here, right? So let's have this as paragraph, or yeah, so we can just have that as paragraph, and then let's have this as name, and then we have a br tag. So we have one paragraph there, we have another paragraph there, and then I'll just have name and age. Then we have this date one with input type submit. Okay, submit, and name will be submit, so that we'll be able to call. This name is very important, but this value is what will appear for the user to see. Okay, you can say send info, whatever you do. Okay, you can just send data, whatever. You can have spaces, you can have capital lock. This is just what will appear. Okay, so we have age here, and then we have number. Okay, okay, and the name here will be age, the name here will be name. Let's just leave it at name. So this is a simple form, and if we look at here, we have a very simple form. Yeah, so we have name, age 65, send info, but nothing happens. Okay, so because nothing, we've not told it to perform any computations. So now we need to use PHP to make sure that it performs computations. So the way we do it is we have a PHP, and then for us to be able to, let me close PHP. For us to be able to use PHP, we need two attributes to this form tag. So we need action, specifying where to submit this form. Sometimes you have a separate file that would handle this form, so we want to handle it here, so we leave it blank. And then we have method. There are different kinds of HTTP methods you can use, but to send data you use post, to get data you use get, but usually you won't use form to get data. All right, so now it takes us to what I wanted to talk about, isset. Isset is a function. It's spelled isset. Isset. It's just like saying is set. Is something set? Okay. Has it been set? Okay. If you understand. So is set. So but you put it together, no spaces. Okay. So it's a function in PHP that you can use to find out if a particular value, if the form, if a particular value per se was clicked. Okay, we can use it to check if this form, if this submit button was clicked. We can use it to check if a value was entered for age, if a value was entered for name, and all those things. So let's see how we start using it. So we use our conditional statement if. Okay, then I normally advise leave it open, put okay, and then you say if is set. Okay, as this form being submitted, so you get the name value. It's better to copy so you don't make typographical error. So if is set, submit. But how do you get submit? You've not declared submit, whatever. Okay, so what you need to do is you use a PHP function request to request directly from that form. Okay, and then you have this. Okay, that looks complicated. Let me not do that. You won't, it will confuse you. So what's this? A PHP function. So it looks like this: request, okay, with square brackets and then quotes inside. So whatever would be inside here, right? So let's pick this as it is, and then put it in here within this set function, and then we pick this and put it here. So if is set, so now if this has been submitted, echo submitted, so it will show us that it has been submitted. Okay, so we terminate that. So let's try to submit that form. Okay, form, and then we submit. So it says submitted, right? So let's pick the values in here. So if it's submitted, let's declare a variable for our name. So we have name is assigned the value of name, this name actually. So this name is whatever we can give as our variable name. It can be n, whatever, and then we have we have the same thing here, name, okay, with name. All right, so but let's just be consistent and name it name as well. So once we do that, terminate this, we have age, okay, and we are able to pick the age value from the submitted data by the user, okay, and I terminate that as well. So I'm able to print something like echo name, okay. So let me use double quotes, so I can say name is 8 years old. 8 years old. Okay, so let's see how it picks that. Oh god, what happened? Let me see. Did we have any errors here? So let me see. Yeah, we don't need to submit that. Submit it, right? So let's see. Sorry, I think we're having errors. So forms. Okay, so we have name and 93 or 94. So UM is 94 years old. So it prints that it picks this, whatever name you, Alice Benson, okay, and 56 or 54. So Alice Benson is 54 years old, and it prints that for you, okay. You can use this to do a multiplication timetable, multiplication kind of small app where you multiply first number and second number. As a matter of fact, let me just give to my students. You are to complete this, have three numbers, three fields, first number, second number, and a third number, and then do a multiplication with them. Then another one, do an addition with them, okay. The addition can be two fields, add the first number and the second number, okay. So just have a multiplication and an addition, okay, and play with it. Let it just be like a simple GUI calculator you play with. All right, so that being said, so this is how to implement this. The reason I had to come back to form is that we are going to use form to implement our loops. All right, so let's proceed. All right, so which other step was the next step? So we have for loops. So let's start working with for loops. All right, to work with for loops, let me pick this initial loop. To work with for loops, we just create for loop, okay, dot php, okay. So how do you work with for loops? So to work with for loops, you need, please debunk, let me move them downward, okay. So what you need to do is you need for, okay, condition, okay, there are several conditions here that you need, not just one condition. And notice that you don't declare a variable on top here, okay. You don't do that like you did here. So instead, you have your variables inside, okay. So what you do with that would be, you have your variables inside. So you declare the first variable would be like for x, something like is assigned the value of 1, okay, and then you need this semicolon, okay. Then what should happen? The condition you should check, maybe you can get something like x is less than or equal to 10, okay. What should happen? So the first one is a variable declaration inside of this for bracket. The second one, what functionality are you checking, or what condition are you checking? And the third one would be, how are you incrementing or decrementing it in order to get it step by step iterated till we get to this point, okay. So we can say x plus plus, okay. So what should happen? So just echo test to see. Okay, so let's play with that first. Let me comment that out. So we have demo, for loop. So test to see if I break this, you will see what happens. It has broken into 10 good lines. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so it's not actually test to see we want to print. So we might want to echo something like x. Okay, x. So we use this so that we have a fluent. So just echo x. So it gives us 1 to 10. So that's how to deduce what we would have done in how many lines? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. About 6 lines from while statements to just do it in 1 to 3 lines for 4 statements. Okay, for 4 loops. Okay, so let's see how to implement this. If we were to implement this start, so we have a start is assigned the value of 45 here. Yep. Okay, so we have this condition inside while. We copy it and then we have it here. Yep. And then what happens? Starts plus plus. So you don't need semicolon at the end actually. So you remove that semicolon. So what should happen? So we still have our echo start. All right, this should work. So now echo should start. Yep. So we have our start. This should work. Okay, let's try that. High number, where is high number? I think I missed something there. So okay, okay, for this purpose we might just need to declare this high number so that yeah the for loop can see. Okay, so it runs for us. Okay, remember it was to run from 45. So if we started it at 1 and then had high number of 10, it would serve the same purpose. So 1 to 10 expectedly. So that's how to basically use for loop. So you see that it's cleaner, it's shorter, but it just needs you to understand where to place things and be careful not to add a semicolon at the end here, right? All right, so this takes us to another interesting part. I think I'll just quickly discuss that as well. So let me check that. Let me check. We've discussed all these. Yeah, so it takes us to what yeah, how to play with for loops and while loop inside of a select statement. Most times you get to some applications, you are filling a form, select loop with select.php. Okay, so you are filling a form and then you get to see some funny things. Okay, some you have maybe date of birth, you see the date, the the day, the month, and the year. Okay, so you have, let me just do that instead of, so let's have select. So we have select these are form, but since we are not implementing it as a form, we won't go into much form and PHP handling details. So we have option. So please choose, let me just put that there so that you understand what I'm trying to talk about. So okay, select day. Yeah, this is appropriate. Select day. Okay, we have space there, and then we have month. Okay, and then we have year. Yeah, so let's look at this. Yeah, so perfect. You select. So we want to bring PHP into life to drop this down for us without us having to type 1, 2, 3, 4. It would be exhausting to type all the years from maybe 1900 to 2024. Wow, it would be really, really exhausting. So we use our while loop to do that. So how do we do that? By simply um, getting that last while we just did. I think, where is it? So we had while loop. Okay, so let's just get this. Okay, so I might just get this for and then bring it here. Okay, this is the last one we are working on. So I get a for loop there. So what you need to do before you enter PHP is just to open a PHP tab. Okay, and then you close a PHP tab. So you're now saying for yeah, so let's leave start alone. For start is assigned the value of 1. Start is less than, so a high number here, let's manually put that days in a month can't be beyond 31. Then you now say plus plus and then you echo start. Okay, for yeah, so for each of them you need option again. So you pick option and then you add it here, and of course you remove this br tag and then you close your option tag. So that should do the job for us. Let's see how it goes expectedly. So you have your days from 1 to 3 to 31 for the months, okay, for the days of the month. Okay, now you implement a similar thing. So we copy this and we add this here. So we are starting from month 1. Okay, let's see if this will work. I've not tried that before, so let's just see up to month 12. Let's see if that should work. Let's see. Oh, error. Oh, it works, but it didn't come out with the 0 of a thing. So it's so we take like 1 is January, 12 is December. Okay, so somebody is able to select, oh, my day of birth 11th May, something like that. All right, and then getting up to this last one, the year. Okay, so you can say start from 1990. Okay, 19, let me be fair enough, 1950 to 2024. Okay, and let's see how that goes. Okay, so yeah, so this goes wide. So but it's beautiful if 2024 is closer to this end, so it now goes back, I mean, in ascending order. So that's something you can change. You can do that. Okay, now there is something I need to talk about also. I've talked about different implementations of these for and while. Yeah, so but let me just incrementing by different values. Okay, I've not really talked about that. While different values. Okay, .php. So while different values .php, let me just get a simple while. It's a bit complicated with that one. So while loop, yeah, let me just start afresh. So we have a simple while. So let's just say we have stats. Okay, let me call it x this time, and is 5. Okay, and then while, okay, so while x is less than or equal to 200 perhaps. Okay, so what should you do? Echo x. Okay, and then below it you now have x plus plus. Okay, so if we have this implementation, look, let's see what happens. So we go here. Okay, so it has done the job for us, just that we didn't add this. I like to forget that. Okay, I hope you guys are enjoying. So it has started from 5 actually and taken us up to 200 expectedly, and that's all. Okay, so but what if you wanted to increase by maybe 20? Okay, so maybe let's put this at 0, then we increase by 20. You don't need this plus plus. Okay, all right, so you can use something like plus plus strictly means increment by 1. Okay, by 1. Okay, but what if you wanted to increment by maybe say 12? Okay, so what you need to do is to do, if you do plus 12, it will run infinitely. You will have an error, so we don't want to experience that. So what you need to do is to do plus equal to 12. So plus equal to actually looks like you are saying x plus x is assigned the value of x plus 12. That's what this x plus is equal to. So it's like x is assigned the value of x plus 12. Okay, so just understand this concept. It's a shorthand, so you use plus equal to, but either way, you can always use it, but not in loops. Okay, not in loops. You just have to be careful when working inside loops, otherwise you get infinite loops. So x plus equal to, so it will increase by 12 for us. So let's see how that goes. So it starts from 0, 12, 24. Okay, so that's how it goes. So even if we were to change, okay, start from maybe 7. So it will start from 7 and increase 7 and add 12 all through. Okay, if you were to change this to maybe 5, it will 7, 12 and something. Yeah, 12, 17, and then take up to 197. It can't get up to 200 because of the last value. So this is how to implement this, and it looks so sweet, so amazing. Yeah, so let's look at the other parts. Form timetable. All right, so that takes us to what I love so much. So we have an understanding of working with forms, but how do we bring these two together to not be the ones to hard code the values? We want the user to be able to submit a particular value, okay, to be able to get what uh, the result instead of us hard coding. So let's see how we can do that. So let's take our implementation, one of the implementations, maybe this timetable. Yeah, well, timetable would be nice. Okay, so let me get this implementation. So please watch carefully. It's very easy to do, but it's very tricky. So timetable with forms.php. Okay, okay, so I have this in my clipboard, but let me just hold on. Now you need a way of user submits data. All right, so let's start with that. So we have a simple form, okay, that will ask the user to submit a timetable value. Okay, so we have a form somewhere already. Let me just see if I can copy that. So let me get this to the last. Remove while remove. So we have forms here somewhere. So let me just copy this part. Okay, so I'm taking this to the last part. I like to work on this last tab. Okay, so we have a simple form. So this time not name. So timetable. So let me just call this timetable value, or which times do you want to check, which timetable do you want to check. So we have timetable do you want to check. Okay, so we can eliminate the age for now and then just so let's just say show timetable. So show timetable. So this should look good. So here, so we want a situation where the user just says, okay, if I need 5 times table, and once sorry about this was rather too small. I didn't notice that all the while, so please bear with me. I'll try to increase as much as possible. So we want a situation where the user clicks maybe 9 times table and then click show timetable, and then it will display here. Okay, so let's start working on that already. So So yeah, we are here. So we pour in our PHP, the one I have on the clipboard. So this one, PHP, yep. So these are PHP. Now the only thing we need to change, just watch what you need to change, is to change this value. So what we are doing in essence is to, inside our PHP, this timetable value will now be this timetable. So that's the only thing we will change. We just change this to, remember our PHP request, and then we have this. So all we need to do is to put that value timetable there, and it will use this request to do the rest of the thing. So let's see if we are correct. Okay, so hold on. I hope I'm not running into any kind of errors. Request timetable, request. Okay, okay. Okay, so let's just be sure we are not running into any errors. So we need this isset function. Okay, so I'm coming down here and I'm gonna use this place, and I'll just say if isset. Okay, and I make sure that this is inside of isset. Okay, this is inside of isset. If isset is okay, so let's see. I hope no errors. We are having errors. Okay, all right. So um all right, so let's try to put everything inside of it. Yep. Okay, okay, that should go. All right, so we are not afraid of error. So let's just say 3 times table and show. So it gives us 3 times 1, 3, 3 times 2, 6. I remember our nursery rhyme, so it gets down to that. So you can say 9, and then 9, 1, 9, 90, 18, whatever timetable. I like 11, so 11, 1, 11, 11 to 22. We will roll the drums then. All right, so that's how to effectively allow your user to take charge. Okay, click and yeah, but it doesn't stop there. It doesn't stop there. There are a lot we can still do. Okay, we want a situation where the user is able to show when the particular number the timetable should start and when it should end. So let's quickly implement that. So we change this start variable, okay, the request start as well. So let's create it first. So let's have this start at and end at. Okay, so we have those values, start at and end at. So start at will just be start at. Start, let me just leave it. Then end will just be end. Okay, so we have the same values here. So our end now will be assigned the value of our request instead of hard coding it. So we have start, and then we do the same thing for 12, and we have end. So everything works beautiful. So we don't even need to touch the, once your program is nicely written, you don't need to touch the functionality. Okay, so it works perfectly. All you need to do is change the parts that we tied down to our hard coding. So we don't need to add code. We need to make it flexible for the user to use. That's the whole essence of programming. So we now have the timetable with this. Okay, so if I say 5 times table but start from 12 and end at 43 perhaps. So let's see how it will be. So it starts from 5 12 times 12 60, 5 times 13 65, and then ends at 5 times 43 215. So you can play about with this 11 times. Okay, start at 6 and end at 9 perhaps. So 11 1 11 6 66 7 7 7 18. So that's a way of using while and for to play with different parts of problem solving. Okay, very easy problem solving in programming, and this is really useful. Yeah. All right. So what else did we need to talk about? I I will take arrays in the next class, so maybe we can just stop here. Thank you very much. Please join the next class. See you soon. Thank you very much. Please remember to like, subscribe, and drop comments, okay? So I can get to know parts that I need to do well, or maybe just say something, okay? Let me know my viewers are enjoying the video, okay? Otherwise, thank you very much. I love you all. Bye.